My favorite memory of my father was on Sunday mornings. Still in bed, I would awaken to the sounds of his piano playing in the front room. The music would drift out into the hallway, up the stairs, and through the closed door of my bedroom. My brother on the top bunk and I on the bottom would roll over and moan something like, "Ah, there he goes again." But I suspect that my brother enjoyed waking up that way as much as I did. That's where Dad was happiest, alone with his music. He never made a lot of money with his music, but on those Sunday mornings and other occasions, you could feel the joy emanating from his soul through his fingertips. When I was home recently, I got to thinking, his may have been the last generation of people who were truly skilled in all the things in life. We're losing those abilities, but while there is still time, I would like to learn the ways of my father. Dad could also play the trumpet, the organ, the accordion, and he could sing pretty well, but that was not his only talent. I can go to the home of any aunt, uncle, cousin, brother, or sister, and I can find a deacon's bench, a cradle, a birdhouse, a cane, or a shelf built with his hands. I can also find a few houses that he helped build, including the one that he still lives in. Dad could also write. His aunt once showed me a poem that he wrote as a teenager about his beloved state of Maine. And once he showed me a short story that he wrote about a comical night in the barracks during the Korean War. He never tried to get anything published. He was a hunter and a fisherman. I still remember some November evenings as a child when I and my brothers and sisters would creep down to the basement to look at and stare at the deer hanging from the rafter. Sometimes we'd even touch it. I still remember those big brown marble eyes of the deer. And fish, nobody could spend more hours in those sticky, gnat-infested woods and come out with a bounty so large that he'd have to hide a bunch of trout in the rim of a tire in the back of a pickup just in case the game warden came along. Dad could drive a pickup, a stick shift, a van, a motorboat, a snowplow, a snowmobile, an ATV, a lawnmower, a wheelbarrow. He could also drive my mother crazy. He was an all-around handyman. Not only for many years was he the caretaker and custodian for his church, but he helped a retired nun with her house by the lake. This meant taking the dock out in the spring, bringing it in the fall, doing electrical repairs, shoveling snow off the roof, adding an addition to the deck, cleaning the chimney, whatever chore she could come up with. Dad could chop wood, pave a driveway, put up wallpaper, tile the floor, lay down carpet, insulate walls, fix the plumbing, install storm windows, paint a barn, plant, weed, and harvest a garden, hay a field, keep a 10-year-old car running, salt the ice, feed the chickens, milk the cow, slaughter the pig, start a campfire, create maple syrup from the sap of a tree, make a damn good omelet, lend a few bucks, and manage to save enough money for retirement on a working-class salary while raising 4 kids with his non-salaried wife. Most of those things he can still do. The only thing he couldn't do was stop on the side of the road and ask a stranger for directions. But he could entertain as a storyteller, argue politics, talk history back to the Dark Ages, coach a Little League game, volunteer for a kids' charity, curse like a Red Sox fan, and he could beat you in Scrabble, Trivial Pursuit, or poker. But most of all, he could complain about everything under the sun because nobody ever had it as bad as he did. On his 75th birthday, a group of us decided to climb Mount Katahdin, Maine's highest peak, simply because he'd never done it before. This was a 14-hour ordeal that ended in the pitch dark during a rainstorm. I don't think we could have done it without his smarts. I can write a story, teach a class, sing a song. I'm grateful for these gifts, and I don't belittle their importance. But let's not forget those who came before us, who could seemingly do all things, and not for profit, but simply because it was expected. So while there is still time, I would like to try to learn the ways of my Father. Times may have changed, but that kind of knowledge is timeless.